Yo, what is up? What is up? Mic check, 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1. All right, cool. SEC football tube, what's up, bro? No, so I when I commented that, I wasn't coming at you. I was just making just a blanket statement in general that it's funny that you have to say that though, is what I'm saying. Like it's funny you can't just talk football without people thinking you're getting like super personal for some reason. It's like what it's like it makes me chuckle that we have to even say that, you know what I mean? Like, of course you don't hate the dude on a personal level. Yeah. Anyways, I just thought it was funny. It wasn't that's what I was saying. It's more of just a blanket statement. Um so today is going to be a little bit different as far as for the Daily Crow. Obviously, welcome guys. Welcome to the Daily Crow. I'm Chris Phillips, the Spurs Up Show as always, but today is going to be a little bit different. I'm actually kind of pumped for it. So Will Muschamp's Tuesday presser, and this is how it's going to be every Tuesday. Will Muschamp's Tuesday presser is at 12:30, and it is now streaming on YouTube. I found that out last week after the fact. It's streaming as it normally did like last year and all the years prior. So I'm going to share my screen at 12:30, and we're basically going to watch this presser together. Because I'm curious what he says. I want to know what he says. I'm sure you all want to know what he says. So we are going to watch this presser together, and I'll take your questions during it, whatever. But yeah, I'm going to share the screen and cut the presser on at 12:30. So I think that would be I think that'll be interesting. So we'll see how it goes. But again, taking your questions, comments, I'll open up the phone lines here, 843-790-3377, 843-790-3377. You can see that I posted the number. If you guys do want to call in, we can talk Carolina, Florida some more. We can talk Muschamp. If you want to start looking ahead to Vanderbilt, we can certainly do that. Yeah. So again, whatever you guys want to talk about, questions, comments, whatever you have. SEC football too. Someone called me ungrateful and a jerk and accused me of attacking him personally for saying he has no clue what he's doing as the head coach position. Pretty pathetic. Yeah. Again, I don't know why you have to preface, like, I don't know why you have to follow up your criticisms of a head football coach by saying, oh, it's nothing personal. Like, of course it's nothing personal. What do you mean? You don't know him personally. How could it be personal? Like, so, I mean, I don't know, man. You have to, I think what it is, man, you just have to understand that college fans look at coaches as like their uncles, like their cousins, like their family, and they look at the players as like their kids. And that's why the fans take it very, very personal. Carolina Titan, chances we lose to Vandy. I'll be honest with you. This might surprise. I think my picks this week are going to surprise a lot of people because I don't think the chances are very high that we lose to Vandy. I could be totally wrong. I really, maybe this is just me wanting to believe this more so than believing it's going to happen, but I really think even the coaches can't screw this one up. Like, I think we have more talent than Vanderbilt. Like, I think if we go, we've showed some promise the first 2 weeks. Like, I really want to believe that we're just going to out-talent Vanderbilt on Saturday. Like, I really do. Like I said, I don't think even the coaches, I don't think even Muschamp can mess this one up. And I mean, I think it was SEC football too, where somebody pointed out yesterday. You think about it. We're on a 12-game winning streak against Vandy, I think it is. As bad as we've been, the worst teams we've had in that stretch have found a way to beat Vandy. I don't see that changing Saturday. Again, I'm not trying to spoil my prediction. I'm really not locked in on a score prediction yet, but I don't see Vandy spoiling that streak. I guess the wheels could certainly fall off. The wheels could certainly fall off on Saturday, but I'm not predicting it. I'm not picking it. I think we're more talented than Vanderbilt. There's no question. There's no question. Absolutely no question. So, Big Creek 61. Do you think Doty will finally get on the field against Vandy? That's a question I just simply don't have the answer to, man. I'd love to say he does, for certain, whatever, but that is a question that I just simply do not have the answer to. So, let's see. SC football too. I have us winning big in my Gamecock show. I said we could win 31-17. I believe or 37-17. I believe in our running game. I'd love to see us blow up on offense like that, score that, and that's something you kind of need to do. You know what I mean? Continue to build confidence offensively. Something you need to do for sure. All the way. Also, guys, by the way, did want to make you aware. I know I said this yesterday, but officially posted the graphic and the details today. Watch party this Saturday at Overtime Bar and Grill again for the Vanderbilt game. So if you guys are interested in coming out, obviously great food and drink specials, fantastic company. It's an awesome venue. Live pregame show 11 to 11:30. Postgame show immediately following the game. So you guys come out, check that out. If you're in the city, if you're in Columbia, no better place to watch the game than Overtime Bar and Grill with yours truly. So, Bailey Campbell, why isn't Luke Doty on the field? Again, that's a question I simply don't have an answer to. I don't know. Jordan Wilson, 47. Crazy how Zaquandre White didn't get any carries, LOL. I thought Kevin was running it fine. I like Deshaun. I think you really need to find two backs. You know what I mean? I mean, you like having the depth as far as having three guys, but you need to find two backs. I think as of right now, Kevin and Deshaun are those top two guys. Let's see. Will Collins, do you still want to see Muschamp go even if we win and possibly beat Auburn? I mean, if we beat Vandy, that changes nothing in my mind. And if you beat Vanderbilt, hey, maybe you're turning the season around. Who knows? I mean, I said I wanted to see 5-5 or better. 5-5 is still possible. It is still possible, even through 2 weeks. We'll see what happens. Can you do it? Can you get to that 500 or better mark? I mean, guys, I'll just be honest with you. I think no matter what, in the grand scheme of things, in the long run, the goal is to get to Atlanta, and Muschamp's not that guy. I mean, I see fans asking questions like that, and I think fans want to cling to any glimmer of hope and any little bit of faith they can. But, dude, just take a look at it realistically. Is he the coach to get South Carolina even competing to get back to Atlanta? I say no. I say no chance. So, I mean, I think Will Muschamp's ceiling as a South Carolina head coach is 7-5, maybe 8-4, but that's all you're going to get out of him, honestly. So the problem with Muschamp is the floor is a 3-win team, a 4-win team, and that's not going to cut it. You know what I mean? That's not going to cut it. So Jordan Wilson, 47. We want Joe Brady. I would love to have Joe Brady in Columbia. Would love to. Again, taking your questions, comments, calls, even 843-790-3377 if you guys do want to call in. Again, we're going to be watching the Muschamp presser at 12:30. Muschamp presser at 12:30. I'm going to share the screen, put it on there. So, yeah. I don't know if you guys saw last night, by the way, if any of you are Falcons fans. Falcons went on a 20-play, 10-minute drive that resulted in a field goal. That is the school of Will Muschamp right there. John Rice, if Georgia loses to Tennessee this weekend, could it be we just played two super solid teams first 2 weeks and competed with both, trying to be optimistic? Yeah, I mean for sure. No, I'm not saying that. I, for one, don't think Tennessee. I mean, if you want to crown Tennessee, that's totally fine with me. I'm not doing so. I think Georgia's going to wreck Tennessee this weekend. I'm just not sold. I'm not buying Tennessee stock quite yet. I mean, obviously, yeah, it would make South Carolina look a lot better, but I'm not crowning Tennessee at this point. And again, like I said, it's not that South Carolina has lost the first two games. It's the way they lose them. It is the way that they lose the football games. So, Lance Player, bring home Skip. Bailey Campbell, are we just milking down Muschamp's buyout? Well, I don't know. I don't know. Tough to say. Carolina Titan, chances pick and start this year solely based on play on the field. I think he should be starting. 100%. Let's see. Cody Gaskins, what's the probability you think Joe Brady would entertain any offer from Carolina, and what do you think we would have to offer him to get him here? I mean, he just got to the Panthers, so I don't know if he'd entertain the offer or not. I mean, that's something. Does he want to come back to college? Stuff like that. And, you'd have to offer him a good bit of money. For sure. Andrew Vincent, is Doty QB2? Not that I know of. I don't think so. No, I'm pretty sure it's still Ryan Hilinski. Philip Carter Harris, Carolina having terrible selling out the rest of the home games, even with the limited COVID seats per GoGamecox.com. Yeah, that does not shock me. I mean, and the tickets aren't cheap. That's the problem. And I'll take a look right now on SeatGeek. The tickets aren't cheap. You know what I mean? So let's see. South Carolina football. I mean, the cheapest game right now is Texas A&M, and they're starting at $96. Like, I'm sorry, guys. I'm not paying $100 to go watch this team play. So, Quentin K., what are your thoughts on Butch Jones as the next head coach? Hell no. I resign as a fan if you hire Butch Jones. Hell no. Butch Jones is the opposite of what we need. Hell no. Matt Griffiths, then who for the next head coach? Again, Joe Brady. Billy Napier is a hot name right now. Josh Heupel from UCF. Matt Campbell at Iowa State. There are names out there, bro. There are names out there. Brinson Corn, what's the best flavor of shine? Dude, I haven't had moonshine in a long, long time. I mean, apple pie moonshine, though, I feel like is undefeated. That's SEC football, dude. Tell me I didn't just hear what I thought I just heard. Yeah, if Butch Jones was hired as head coach, I'd think I'd have to find a new team. Straight up. I'd have to find a new team. Let's see. Andrew Vincent, Tanner gone by December. Dude, it's so tough to say. I don't know. I don't know they're going to ever part ways with Tanner. I have no idea, man. It's tough to say what kind of hot seat Tanner may or may not be on. Cody Gaskins, do you think the UCF head coach would entertain an offer from us or no? I mean, why wouldn't he? I mean, a chance to go from UCF to an SEC school, I would like to think so. If we wanted him, I'd like to think we could get him. Will Collins, I saw Muschamp was on the hot seat, number 2 in the nation on hotseat.com. There's a hotseat.com. That's something I did not know. What do you think President Caslen thinks? I mean, I'm sure he's a value. I mean, dude, I'll be honest with you. I don't think Caslen's a huge fan of Muschamp. That's just my opinion. From things I've heard, I don't think Caslen is exactly thrilled with Muschamp. John Rice, Tanner will retire, quote unquote. I think so as well. I think he will step down, if that makes sense. Yeah, I think so. I mean, dude, he's a legend. His number is on the wall at Founders Park. In my opinion, he deserves a statue outside of Founders Park. You can't fire him. It would be such a tough look to fire him. Matt Griffiths, does the difficulty of our schedule weigh in on the factor of Muschamp being such a bad coach? It's just an excuse, man. I mean, the schedule is going to be hard every single year. Are you waiting on the schedule to get easy? Because it's not going to. It's not going to. The schedule's not going to get easier in the history of Carolina football. Like you're not changing conferences. You're in the SEC. Hold on, guys. Let me test something out really quickly because we're going to have that Muschamp presser, but I just realized. Very good. Let me see if you guys can hear this. Going to test something out. We're going to test something out here. Tell me if you guys can still hear me is the question. Let's see. Okay, can you guys hear this? Can you hear this video? I haven't done. You guys, can you hear the audio of the YouTube video? Can you hear the audio? Okay. Okay, good. All right, well, that's how we'll do it then. That's how we'll do it then. Good deal. Oh, not the audio of the YouTube video. Let me see. Let's see. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. I think I know what I did. I think I know what I did. Hold on. Oh, okay. I had to click the share audio button. I did not click the share audio button. Let's try that again. Let's see if it works this
South
time.
Carolina is 0-2.
I'm just going to tune in on my end as well.
Let's just face it, is most likely, unless there's a
I'm doing this because we're going to cut on the Muschamp presser
in the preseason, which would be a 3-7 season.
Let's see here.
And what's crazy is I think if they finish with that record or worse, at this point, it doesn't feel like it's going to be because of the offense. It's going to be because of the defense, which is the most maddening thing.
There you go.
If I'd have told you the day Will Muschamp was hired that in year 5,
okay, all right,
the defense would still be at best average, at worst extremely suspect,
right,
and a liability.
That's how we will watch the Muschamp presser then. That'll be fun. That will be fun. Somebody asked earlier, I think it was, what lie will Muschamp tell this week? No more injury reports. No more injury reports. So, no more injury reports. Cody Gaskins, if we go out with 1 win this season, which I believe could very well happen, maybe 2 wins, do you think Muschamp steps down, gets fired, or gets another run next season? Dude, it's so tough to say. I mean, it's tough to I just don't know. I mean, I understand the financial stuff, COVID. I understand that. What I don't understand is how you can bring back Muschamp if you go 2-8 or worse, for example. How are we going to sit here all offseason and get ourselves hyped for the 2021 year? I don't know how. I mean, the only things that you're going to have to really be excited about are Marshawn Lloyd coming back, Luke Doty, what else? What else really? Again, to me, it's not that South Carolina lost the first 2 games. It's just the way they're losing football games. Just stupid mistakes, mental errors from the coaching staff, things that just can't happen. Brandon Kirchen, what's wrong with our O-line? It's supposed to be our best aspect of the team, but there's some timing at best, but halftime. I thought the O-line played a lot better Saturday, to be honest with you, and I think you saw that obviously in the running game. But yeah, it's got to continue to improve. I mean, everything's got to continue to improve, especially on the line of scrimmage. It's got to continue to improve. Brian Wells, not that it really matters, but what do you think our record would be if we had our original schedule this year? I mean, I think I was predicting 5-7. I'm pretty confident with saying 5-7. So, Jerry Withrow, do you think we'll lose Gunnar Stockton? It's tough to say, man. Recruiting process. I mean, he won't even be on campus for 2 years. So, it's really tough to say. I think even if we let go of Muschamp or whatever, we could still keep him. But again, it's tough to say. Very tough to say. So, Jordan Wilson, 47. I don't know how Roderick stays on the field, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, there's got to be a shakeup at safety. You'd have to think there has to be a shakeup at the safety position. It's just been brutal. It's just been brutal. So, I mean, hopefully, let's all hope and pray there's a shakeup at the safety position. So, Brown Bomber 1. Well, they're committing to the school, not the coach, right? Yeah. I mean, you'd think so. Obviously, it changes things when you change the coach and you want to know who you're playing for and how you're going to fit into their scheme, their system, stuff like that. But, I mean, I think any coach that got the job would want Gunnar Stockton to come in. Yeah, I mean, for sure. He's number 1 rated dual threat quarterback in the country. You want that guy. Jerry Withrow, why don't they play Jordan Burch? They're playing him. They're just not playing him enough. That's the problem. Bailey Campbell, will Helinski transfer? I think it's on the table. I really, and I know fans hate to hear that, but I think it's 100% on the table. No question. Ryan Johnson, what's going on with Mike Wyman? The last I heard, he's hurt. So, yeah. SEC football, too. If we win on Saturday, the Vandy trash can comes out. Let's get a dozen in a row for the biggest embarrassment in Nashville. Hey, I'd love to see it. Love to see it. Brian Welch, move Izzy back to safety and give the offspring of primetime a shot at corner. Or John Dixon. I mean, you got to shake something up. You can't just roll the same dudes out there in the same spots this week. You just can't do it, in my opinion. Matthew Dobbins Dickerson was supposed to be a good safety. I thought he's played decent. I mean, but yeah, all those guys in the secondary need to play better. Cody Gaskins, do you think Muschamp is close to losing the locker room, or at least on the defensive side? Again, it's tough to say there. I mean, I know Muschamp's guys all really like him. They play hard for him. So I'd lean towards no. But, I mean, for example, if you were to lose to Vandy or something, I mean, all bets are off at that point. Damian Burrows, why aren't they playing Joyner and Doty? Again, they're playing Joyner. They're just not targeting him. And Luke Doty, again, I have no idea. I genuinely could not tell you why they're not playing Doty at all. And I mean, listen, I'm not somebody who's out here harping like, oh my God, like Doty would be the difference right now. Like, but I mean, if you say you're gonna play him, play him. Like, why say you're gonna do it and not do it? You know, just doesn't make sense. So I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. Tack Covington. Players look dejected when they walk off the field. No sense of urgency. Yeah, starts at the top. Blake Ellenberg, does Champ get fired if we lose Saturday? I think the wheels start turning in that regard. I think it starts becoming, okay, how do we make this happen? Not is it going to, it's how do we make it happen? Travis Rowell, get your athletes on the field, bottom line. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you 100%. Jordan Bagwell, has Joyner ever been targeted once this season? Craziness. No, I don't think he has. Brian Welch, if you're an SEC head coach and you don't know how to get your fastest player on the field, there's no way you should be a head coach anywhere. I mean, you said it. You said it best. You said it best for sure. Will Collins, I feel like Muschamp tells lies and tells us what we want to hear, like playing Doty. Told Dak Joyner here he'd be a quarterback, and now he's a wide receiver. Yeah, I mean, yeah. No, I agree. Can't totally disagree there. I mean, I feel for a guy like Dak. Could have transferred, could have went and played quarterback somewhere else, and I don't know. I don't know why he sticked around, to be honest. Ryan Johnson, who do we call if Champ is booted, assuming a loss to Vandy? Well, I think you're going to have an interim head coach, but from there, you start looking at guys like Joe Brady, like Josh Heupel, like Billy Napier, like Matt Campbell at Iowa State, maybe. I mean, you start looking, you start putting out feelers, start making calls. So SEC football tube. He fell apart last 2 or 3 years. So if you can't get it right, then you aren't the guy. At the end of the day, it had to be done. It was the right move. Austin Amick, I think we will beat Kentucky. Yeah, Kentucky looks bad. I'm actually very shocked at that. But the only thing I'd warn Gamecock fans, that game is a ways out from now. So Kentucky might be a totally different team. We might be a totally different team. Who knows? Let's see. Will Collins, Dak had an offer at Clemson and came here to Muschamp. Yeah. I don't know if you remember, he said that if he was going to play anything else other than quarterback, he would have went to Clemson or Alabama. And he came to South Carolina to play quarterback. That's why I'm so surprised he's still here, to be honest. Michael Martin, is there a way to get out of the buyout without paying? Shouldn't there be performance metrics including in the contract? Unfortunately, I don't think that's the way it works, but who knows? Travis Rowell, the days of Devin Taylor and J.D. Clowney need to come back. We've generated some pressure, but not enough. I agree. Yeah, I agree. I think, again, recruiting guys like Zach Pickens, like Jordan Burch, you're getting closer to that, but yeah, it's got to get better. Pass rush has got to get better. SEC football too, Dak had an amazing potential, and I hate that we pretty much wasted his talent. I'm surprised he chose to stay, but that shows you his loyalty to the university. Yeah, I mean, it just sucks to think that a guy like with his athleticism, his speed, everything, like it's just going to complete waste. I mean, I'm not saying that he should be the starting quarterback. I'm not saying he should be the number one wide receiver, but how do you not utilize a guy that has the quickness and agility and athleticism that he has? I just don't understand it. I just don't understand it. So, Ryan Johnson, do you think a change at DC is needed? Well, Travaris Robinson's the DC, and that basically is Will Muschamp's right-hand man. He's not firing his best friend. And Muschamp's the co-DC. I mean, you could really just say he's the DC. So, yeah, I think a change at DC is needed. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I'm down with that. No question. Will Collins, do you think someone will call in on his call-in show and ask him when he's leaving or when he thinks he'll be fired? No, they'd cut that call off in a second. WB Prothman, is there a scenario that Hilinski, Doty, and Dak all transfer? Doty will not transfer, no. Hilinski has the most likelihood of transferring. I think Dak is here to stay. I think he'd have transferred. He was going to. Ashley Greer, why is Doty not playing? I have no idea. No clue. I wish I had the answer for you guys, but I have no clue. So that's hilarious. Will Ross, who's a kicker and punter on the team, just liked our tweet of can the Gamecocks afford Will Muschamp's buyout? That's interesting. That's interesting. That's very interesting. That is interesting. It was Will Ross. I think he's just a punter, but he liked it either way. So let's see. Cody Gaskins, if we were to upset one ranked team left on our schedule, who do you think it will be? You know, I predicted before the season I thought Auburn would be a toss-up game. Texas A&M, is A&M still ranked? I don't know. Maybe I'm not even going to say LSU anymore. I think LSU is going to stomp us. So maybe Auburn. I'd say Auburn's probably the best bet on there for that. SEC football too made the same mistake with Lorenzo Nunez and Brandon McElwain, although I felt those guys got more playing time than Dak. They got way more playing time than Dak. They got way more opportunities than Dak for sure. For sure. So Ashley Greer's the team giving up on the coaches. I don't know. Again, it's tough to look at something like that and say for certain. You know what I mean? It's tough to do so. It's tough to say. So it's tough to say. I'm not in the locker room, so it's tough to say. Damian Burrows, Colin Hill, Kevin Harris, and Shi Smith have been playing very well in offense. I agree. Yeah, I agree. All three of those guys have been playing really, really good football, and those are three guys obviously you're going to have to lean on if you're going to turn it around or whatever. You know, if you're going to salvage this season, it's three guys you're going to have to lean on, no question. Brian Welch, if players are liking tweets like that, you can probably guess there's some rumblings among the players about Muschamp being gone. I mean, listen, dude, they all see it. They're all on social media. They all see it. It's no question they see it. So SEC football, too, I think A&M and Auburn are the two I'd pick us to have the biggest chance to upset. Me too, for sure. Yeah, me too. Yeah, we got about a minute and a half till the Muschamp thing gets going. Let's see. Michael Martin, he was a punter, LOL. All right, let's see. Let's probably pull this up in just got about a minute of the Muschamp media availability, so we'll pull this up in just a second. I'm curious what he had. Again, we're going to start doing this every Tuesday. I'm going to just start having it up. I'll give kind of my comments, thoughts in the middle of it, but I always enjoy tuning into the presser, getting his thoughts and stuff like that. So Bailey Campbell, does Tanner retire and Muschamp get fired? That would be the way that it would happen. If it's going to happen, I think that'd be the way it would happen. So, you know, I don't think they would fire Tanner. I think they'd ask him to step down, retire, whatever you want to call it. Donnie Cunningham, why do our defensive backs suck so bad? I don't know. I feel like there's talent. I mean, we have talented players. I don't know how you could look at those guys and think we don't have talented players, but I don't know. You're not getting out of them what you thought you would. I don't know. I mean, outside of J.C. Horn and Izzy, really, you're not getting what you thought you would. So let's see. Just waiting on this to go. Blake Ellenberg, who do you think will be the next AD? That's really tough to say. I mean, I have no idea. I don't know like who you would target or whatever. Somebody who can deal with the NCAA though. Hopefully, that's what I prefer. We've been so bad with those dudes. Hopefully, somebody who's good with the NCAA. It's all I want. So, Travis Royal, when you give up 3rd and 14, we have defensive problems. Yeah, there are certainly issues on the defensive side of the ball. There's no question. Certainly issues. Where is the presser? SEC football, too, it seems to me like Ray Tanner just doesn't want to fire Coach Boom. He's heard the fans' rumblings and still says he's going to be our head coach. You know, I don't know what the deal is. All right, here we go. You guys ready for this? Boom, boom, boom. All right, this should be fun. this should be fun for sure. If you see me looking down, I'm probably going to be tweeting through this if he says anything notable. Let's see. WB Frothman, do you think a really good coach in any sport equals a good AD? Good AD? No, I don't. Not at all. No, absolutely not. Being an AD is completely different than being a head coach in a sport. No, for sure. Jordan Wilson, 47. Have a feeling Jordan Brooks gets cleared this week. I pray to God you're right. Let me make sure okay, audio's turned up on there. Good. SEC Football Tube, you're more than welcome to call in, my guy, for sure. Anytime. Anytime. Whoa. And here we go. Let me know that you guys can hear it, by the way, because this is my first time doing this. So
All right, we're ready for
could have
Coach
messed it up.
Coach, if you make an opening statement, we'll open up for questions.
Y'all ready?
The old guy.
Thought we had a really good start today on Vanderbilt. Probably had one of our better practices since we started the season. A lot of energy and competition, which we need.
What is going on?
And head up to
What in the
Nashville
world?
for a noon kick. We're looking forward to game day, and I'll open up for any questions.
Raise your hand, and we'll get to you, David, with the first one.
Will, Izzy played a lot of safety last week. Is that, I don't know if it's permanent, but is that a move that you guys are looking to do a lot more throughout the rest of the season?
No, he was, I don't know that he was 100% on his groin, and we only played him at corner in the red zone to limit some of the running that he would probably have to do on a 9-ball or something like that. So that was by design. He will play corner this week, and that was just he was really practiced, I want to say, a little bit Tuesday, a little more on Wednesday, and he practiced the entire practice on Thursday. But we were a little concerned about them opening up and having to run long speed down on 9 balls and things like that. So we played him at safety, and out in the field situations, and we played him in the red zone at corner because of some of the height matchups that you have with those guys.
Ben Reiner.
What are some of the challenges posed by this Vanderbilt offense, and are they still kind of that pro style scheme that they've been the last few years?
Well, I've got a lot of respect for Todd Fitch, who's our new offensive coordinator, who was with Skip Holtz at Louisiana Tech and used to be here with Coach Holtz, but has got a very varied background as far as pro style and spread systems. Obviously at Louisiana Tech, they've been really good on offense. And then he was at Boston College with Steve Adazio, and they're more traditional two-back, looks as far as some of the things. So we've done a lot of research in order to prepare for the game. They give you some different variations of that. They jump in 12 personnel, and they're multiple formation with that, which creates some issues as far as matchups and how you want to play that. Ben Bresnam is a really good tight end that they've really used early in the season. Wakefield's been a back that's been there since we've been here. He's been here a long time. We like him and Marlowe. We think are really good players, and Cam Johnson in the slot plays really well for him. So again, they do some really good things offensively. That pose some issues for you.
Eric Boynton.
I know you've played two veteran quarterbacks in these opening two games, and just kind of what's your overall assessment of the secondary? Do you feel like they've underperformed at all, or just what's your general assessment?
Underperformed at all? What you mean?
Well, I think that the bottom line is you give up 10 explosive passes in 2 games. That's way too many. And that was something that is frustrating. And I think that you go, and we've evaluated obviously all 10 plays multiple times in the last 48 hours. And, the ball against Jamie against Tennessee is a heck of a throw and catch. He's in position to make the play. Let's get the ball off the guy. But sometimes they're going to make some plays. And that was a heck of a catch by their guy. I think the JC's back shoulder ball against Pitts on the sideline was a well-thrown ball. It's a bang-bang play. And again, they're going to make some plays like that. But, we practice a throwback against Tennessee as something that we need to be able to see that. We get beaten underneath coverage, for a big gainer against Florida. We get beaten bump and run. We have a flea flicker that we cover against Tennessee. The back leads out in the flat. We got to stay in the flat as a flat defender, which is really on the linebackers, not on the secondary. A couple man situations where I feel like we're in position to make a play on the ball. You got to get the ball off the guy. And that's what we need to is don't make just the routine play. We need to get our hand on some balls to make some interceptions. We've had 1 pick all season. And I feel like we've had some other opportunities to be in that position to make those plays. And that's what we expect our guys to make. Right now we're giving up 8 yards an attempt, which is really high. We want to be at 5 yards or less. Our first 2 years here, I believe we were at 5.15 and like 5.2, which is good. If you're at 5 or less, you're probably leading the country. You're in the top 15 or 20 in the country. And then last year, I think we were right at 6, and I think we were at 6 the year before that. So, you can't allow explosive plays. And then when we have opportunities in 50-50 situations, we have to do a better job of getting the ball on the ground.
Mike Uba.
I'm sure a lot of people outside of that locker room don't realize when you go back and watch the film of those last 2 games, how close you guys really are being able to take that next step. Looking back at it, what do you think is either holding this team back, or what do you think you guys got to do differently to be able to turn that page?
Well, again, I think that in the first 2 ball games, we've got some self-inflicted, issues. You look at the Florida game, we had some drops offensively that I think we stay on the field and we're able to at least flip the field as far as field position. Obviously, put yourself in a position to score, and that was frustrating. But we really game plan wise wanted to be able to convert and stay on the field as much as we could. And we were able to execute some of those things. We had 10 explosives against Tennessee offensive, which is really good. We're wanting 8 or more in each game. And if you do that, you're playing winning football. We needed to run the ball better. We improved in the second week against Florida, which has a good front as well. As far as running the football defensively, the explosive plays to me is the biggest issue. That we really have been somewhat limited in the run game, but more in the passing game. That have created, scores and created field position and created opportunities for the offense to move the football. So the explosive plays is an issue that we've got to continue to address defensively as much as anything. And then offensively, just staying on the field and not getting off rhythm because of ourselves. You look in the start of the third quarter, we get a 3 and out. there defensively. Offensively, we hit 3 runs, I think, and we got 3 first downs to start the third quarter. We get a holding call, we get a false start, and we turn the ball over. So those are things we can't overcome those right now. We've got to play cleaner football overall.
Yeah, no
I
shit.
think we have 10 penalties for the year, but we've got to clean some of those things up. But again, we had a really spirited practice, a lot of energy and competition today. And it tells a lot about the team, and it tells a lot about the leadership of the team to know where we are right now. And I challenged our staff yesterday. I said, we're going to need to bring the energy and juice. And we got on the field, and that wasn't the case. Our players did. And so that's a pleasing part of it. And we're looking forward to playing on Saturday.
Josh Kendall.
Well, I've heard coaches use the term learning how to win a lot. Number one, are you a believer in that as a concept? And number two, if so, what does it mean to you?
Well, I think that when you talk in terms of that, it's those 5 to 7 to 8 plays of putting yourself in a position to win in those situations. Now, part of that goes into coaching, of putting your guys in a position to make a play, and they have that opportunity. They need to make the play. So it's twofold in my opinion. And I do think that you will yourself to win. You believe you're going to win. You know you're going to win. And that's something that comes from confidence. And I do think that our guys need to keep playing and put themselves in those positions. As coaches, we need to put them in better positions. So when they have those opportunities to go win the game, that's what happens. And I think that, I've been a part of that where, there was no doubt when we hit the field, we knew we were going to win the ball game. There's absolutely no doubt. And we've got to continue to push to that here. And that's what we're trying to do.
What can you do as a head coach to affect that prior to a team or players having an example of that on the field? Prior to it happening on the field, on the game field, how do you get them to believe it?
In practice. We do a lot of, we're doing more good on good than we've ever done because of the situation we're in, to have more guys ready to play on Saturday afternoon and challenge guys to know that, hey, you just went against a really good football player and had success on this route, had success in this coverage, had success in this blocking scheme, had success on this run. You just blocked. You just did a great job double teaming a really good player. We need to build from that and create examples for our players, which we're doing, to show them, to give them confidence. That's what it looks like. That's what it feels like. That's what it smells like. And that's what we need to do. And I think that's something you got to continue to simulate for your players in practice, and then understand when he gets to game day, that doesn't change. Why is Tom Brady the best 1-minute quarterback ever? Because he never changes. Nothing ever changes in 1 minute for him. He doesn't all of a sudden decide he's got to have a whole new route concept and he's got to do this. He's got to change this. He's got to know. He stays the same all the time. And that's why, those are things that I talk to our team about a lot. We don't change when the game's on the line.
Mike Gillespie.
Kind of going off of that, obviously a lot of the attention over the last
Will
couple days
Muschamp has
been that
indeed
final
not
drive,
changed in 9 seasons as a head
7.5
coach. That is a
minutes
damn
on
fact.
offense. And I guess I'm wondering, in the future, are you comfortable going faster maybe in that situation?
Nothing wrong with evolving.
I know the
Nothing wrong
defense
with
kinda
changing a
dictates
little
what you
bit.
do, obviously, but are
Just a
there
little.
maybe some play
Just a
calls
little
where you
bit.
could go faster in the future?
Well, I mean, I don't know that it's the play call.
You know,
It's
the
just
definition of
the
insanity,
operation needed to be faster.
Doing the same thing
I said
over and
that
over
when the
again,
game was
expecting a
over.
different
We need to be
result.
crisper in our operation, and we need to be quicker
A
to the line.
7-minute
I
drive
do
with
think we got caught in
8
some
minutes
tough
to go.
situations of a scramble. And then when you get
Come
to
on, man.
when you're in my shoes and you get to the 3-minute mark and you got 2 timeouts left and you're below 3 minutes, you're going to have to onside kick unless you score quickly. And it gets below 2.5 minutes. There's no conversation. You have to, because they're going to run between 44 and 48 seconds off. And just, we have a book on everybody in a 4-minute, what I call 4-minute, when they're trying to win the game on offense and just in the game, running the football or throwing the football. Dan was going to probably approach it differently than the first week. The first week, they're going to run the ball 3 times. They're going to make us expend all 3 timeouts, and we're going to get the ball back with 1.5 minutes to go in the game. And that is exactly what happened. Okay. And this situation probably was going to be different. So we didn't want to expend any timeouts. All right. Because Dan was going to probably be able to throw the football in those situations because he wants to go win the game. Because in college football, when the clock stops on a first down, it's an eternity. It lasts forever. So they were going to approach that situation much differently had we scored, had we had tried to onside kick or kick the ball deep, either one, depending on how much time was left in the game, because that predicates what you do as far as kicking the ball deep or onside kicking it. And when we got to that point, you don't want to expend any timeouts when you're inside 3 minutes, because you got to be in a situation, if you don't get the stop, to be able to have some timeouts in order to maybe possibly, if you don't get the onside kick, that they kick the ball deep to you and you got a chance to at least go down the field and score. So once it ends under 3 minutes to 2.5 minutes, there's no question of what you got to be able to do with only 2 timeouts as opposed to having 3. But we didn't get to that.
You got the ball with 8
we
minutes
needed
to go.
have a quicker operation after we converted the fourth down.
Jesus
4th and 4.
Christ.
And we converted that. We needed to speed up. And I believe I've said that, and that's what we needed to do. So
Colin Taylor.
I'm just baffled.
Hey, well, 2 questions.
Baffled.
Did John Dixon show you enough to retain his starting spot, or will Izzy kind of slide back into that starting corner this week?
Colin, we got to look at that, and we did both today. I mean, I think that, both at Israel at safety and corner. But John is a guy that I thought played extremely well, tackled well on the perimeter, made some plays on the ball. Like, we talk about those 50-50 balls. He had that opportunity there on our sideline. Let's go finish that thing. That's a game-changing play to be able to make that pick there. I believe it's a 2-score game at that time. We end up making them punt. But those are the plays there that we've got to make those plays. But no, we've got a lot of confidence in John. We thought he had a good training camp and thought he thinks he continues to progress, and we'll make that decision later in the week.
Talked a little bit last year about needing to be more creative in the run game with Mike Bobo. Have you seen that, and kind of how has that impacted what you guys are able to do on the ground?
I think that we're doing a really good job as far as getting in and out of different runs. We didn't run the ball as well in the first ball game that we needed to, but against a good Florida front, I thought we had some really good run concepts that kept them off balance. I thought our backs ran hard, but I think that Mike was very creative in the run game as far as the things we're doing. And a lot of that's on Colin, because a lot of things we're doing are packaged based on the look and based on getting us in the right front or on the right run based on the front and based on the declaration of the linebacker. And I thought that Colin did a really good job, but we had a good plan in the run game.
Hale.
Following up on that, I'm assuming Coach Bobo has always been that way as far as keeping it diverse in the run game and mixing things up, going back to when he was at Georgia.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they've always packaged the run game, even when we played them way back then. More formations, more shifts, more motions, more attempts to out leverage the defense based on a blocking surface, based on a motion, based on just different, pre-snap issues that he tries to create, window dressing in a lot of sense. But that's what's a different from maybe than he was when he was at Georgia.
Pete Acabelli.
Talking about explosive plays, does the benchmark for it change simply because there are so many quarterbacks out there today who go downfield more often, and speedy receivers who take slant routes and break big plays? Does that change how you have to?
I figured out how to make it full screen.
Or how you have to minimize?
I think.
Well, I think, Pete, it goes back to matchups each week, and you go back and look at the issues that the guys are created. Pitts was a matchup issue. Tony was a matchup.
I mean, no
issue.
offense. It's just all a bunch of
like
nothing,
we were
bro. It don't matter. All this is bullshit.
At times
Coach
we weren't.
speak.
So there was a couple snaps.
See,
obviously
show me
we'd
on
like to have
Saturday.
back. So again, I think that it's all about matchups. It's all about whether you think you can win in man-to-man. Do we feel like we need to play more zone? Do we need to put somebody underneath, somebody over the top? I mean, those are all questions that you've got to go into the game thinking and then try to, take those guys away from you as best you can. Pitts had 4 catches. 2 of them were touchdowns. 2 of them were first downs. The other 2 were first downs. So, I mean, that's not
Muschamp wouldn't want to answer my questions.
They were critical catches at that. Tony had some plays in the game. So we didn't do a good enough job, obviously, of taking away 2 weapons that we felt like in the game. So that'd be my answer to that question of last week.
Well, Shy's obviously been an explosive guy for you. What has he done differently this year, better this year than he has in some other years?
I think more of the consistency of knowing he's the guy, the consistency of knowing that he's going to be targeted, and answering the consistency, and I think that we always felt like Shy had a tremendous amount of ability. There's no question. That was never a question with us as far as that, but just the consistency down in, down out, really challenged him coming off the first ball game to the second ball game. Can you answer the bell? And obviously he answered extremely well. And we continue to believe he'll do it again Saturday. And had a good practice today, practicing right every single day, really creates consistency in your performance. And, really proud of him and how he's approached the season and how he's gone about things.
Gene Shapikoff.
Well, just looking forward, have you guys made any tweaks this week to the basic way you guys think and handle clock management, or you feel pretty comfortable with the way you guys approach that?
That's the question.
Well, I feel fine with what we obviously we needed to play with a quicker tempo at the end of the game. And I've said it multiple times on the headsets. We had discussion after the 4th and 4 conversion. We needed to speed up the tempo. It wasn't necessarily what was being called. We didn't have as much urgency as we needed to have at the line of scrimmage. But as far as the management situations, we haven't changed how we approach and look at things. As far as those things, they change each week based on who you're playing. A 4-minute situation, meaning a team that's got the lead trying to grind and in the game. And our first ball game was much different than our opponent in the second ball game, and how we would have handled that situation with that team. Those things always change week to week based on who you're facing, based on what is their history and what do they do. As far as those things are concerned, we hit our 1 minute tomorrow. We'll go through that operation again tomorrow as far as being down either a touchdown or a field goal. And we always end a Wednesday practice with a 1 minute good on good. Again, we needed to have a better urgency / operation quicker after the 4th down conversion.
What about the last drive in the third quarter before Parker's field goal? You had, I think, two plays in a row and a few plays that would go down to 9 seconds, 10 seconds on the play clock. Wasn't much urgency there. Have you looked at that and thought about any things you might have done differently?
Well, we needed to get points on the board at that time, and no different than the last drive. We needed to score a touchdown. So it wasn't really about going fast and punting or going fast and not getting a first down. We got to get first downs, and we got to get points in those situations. And that's why I go back to the last drive. The most important thing we had to do is score a touchdown, because if we don't score a touchdown, it doesn't matter. And there's some things that we had to create. When you do go fast, you have a harder time hiding things. And obviously Shy's a guy that's going to get doubled. And when you get into a 1 minute situation, it's a 2x2 set, he's going to get doubled, as opposed to being able to motion and create some different things as far as those things are concerned. So we'll go back and look at it.
Eric Boynton.
What are kind of the most important aspects that you and Coach Bobo and your staff can kind of factor into trying to create more long plays in your offense?
Well, I mean, I think, Mike, we called several, Saturday. Those are things that, we're always looking for explosive plays, because it's very difficult to have 12, 11, and 9 play drives for touchdowns or field goals in this league. Eventually something's going to break down. There's going to be a negative play that puts you behind the change. There may be a penalty, but there's going to be something that does not go right on the drive. So we've been able to maintain the ball because, you look at last Saturday, we were really good on third down. We were right at close to 50% on 3rd and 4th downs in the game. When you're 11 of, I think it's 23, you're close to 50%, which you'll be as good as anybody in the country if you do that. So being able to maintain, stay on.
Yeah, I mean,
on track as far
I
as
see
the
all
down
your
and distance are
comments.
concerned, but we've got to create.
Muschamp
some
is
explosive
convinced
plays.
that
And whether it's
nothing
taking
about that
some more
last
shots
drive
down the
was
field, which we had some dialed up. We threw a
was
couple,
wrong.
we
I
missed
just-
a couple, and then because of protection or whatever the
What can
case
you-
may be, the read they may have.
What can
covered
I
it down
say
the
at that
field. We
point?
didn't throw a couple.
What can you say? I mean,
Dick Cox.
is who he is.
Has been a crazy
Bottom
year
line,
and will
is who he
continue
is.
to be. Can you talk about your approach to having to play an all SEC schedule
We'll
where
go back
you've
and
got
look
to
at the
strap
tape.
it on and bring it every week and just cannot afford any letdowns? Like look at Mississippi State last week, though, and just how hard it is to have to bring it every week and not have it, even a chance to catch your breath.
Well, I think that's why you want to come to the Southeastern Conference, a place like South Carolina, to play in the spotlight every week against good teams every week, and teams that you've got to, bring it every single week. Exactly what you said, Dick. You got to bring it every single week. There's no gimmies on our schedule. There wasn't last year either. So at the end of the day, that's what you got to do. But that's why you come to a place like South Carolina, to go compete against the best.
Colin Taylor.
You're not talking about injuries, but when you guys do get Jamar Brown back, What can he bring to this defense? And athletically speaking, just how can he help you guys in some areas that you've maybe struggled in early?
He played really well at the dime linebacker, and hopefully, I'm hoping he'll practice tomorrow. He moved around today. I have not talked to Clint Haggard to see how he did yet, but he did move around today a good bit. But he gives you some, when you have a dime linebacker that can cover in man coverage, that can cover in the slot, that can play in the deep part of the field, it just provides more disguise. It provides more multiple coverage. It gives you a better, way to disguise and show split safety and play middle field and just do some different things that you can't do when you have a true linebacker playing there. And so he gives us a lot of flexibility defensively. He's a really good box player in the box. He's a physical guy. He's got good instincts. He's smart. So we need to get him back and get him back in the fold.
John Whittle.
Well, I know you and Coach Tanner talk a good bit. What have the conversations over the last week or so been like? 2 weeks? What's his message kind of been to you? And have you heard from President Caslen at all to give you any kind of words of encouragement or anything like that?
No, I saw President Caslen before the game Saturday. Wished us good luck. And then, Coach Tanner and I talk, 3 or 4 times a week, just about kind of where things are with the team. Obviously, his experience as a coach obviously helps in those situations sometimes, and you lean on that. But he's been nothing but supportive about what we're doing and where we're heading with things.
David?
Well, kind of off topic here, but do you know Kirk Hollingsworth?
Yeah.
Just what are your reactions for him, this lengthy streak of attending games that he's on? I mean, what were your first impressions of him when you met him?
Well, I love Kirk. He's a great Gamecock. Has got a smile on his face every single time you see the guy. And the guy loves the University of South Carolina. Not just football. He loves everything about us as far as the university is concerned and athletic department is concerned. Always positive, always upbeat, always excited. I have my radio show every Thursday night.
How about Cole Kirk? Attaboy Kirk.
And a great example of don't let your circumstances define you. He's got a positive attitude every single time you see him. And it's wonderful to be around, somebody that's got a positive outlook that he has on life. I let him come to several of the scrimmages in the stadium there when we were in COVID situations. And he came and was able to watch, and he enjoys that part of anything he can be a part of at the University of South Carolina. But his streak is unbelievable. I don't know, I guess this week because of the hotel overlooks the stadium. So the way I look at it, he's in the stadium. That's the way I'm going to count it. But Kirk's a great
Kirk, my dude,
and appreciate his support.
Ben Briner.
Hey, well, wanted to check up on what was the situation that led to Rick Sandage not playing any snaps on defense and Xavier Legette. I think he didn't play in the second half.
Yeah, Xavier tweaked his groin a little bit. He's fine. But Rico came in and did a good job. So we wanted to give Rico an opportunity. It became more of a passing game. And right now, Jabari and Kier and Zach are more athletic as far as being able to win inside and rush. And there was not a lot of run game that was going on as far as that's concerned. And we felt like they gave us the best opportunity to get to the quarterback.
Dick Cox.
I know you were concerned last week about the number of drop passes. Do you anticipate any personnel changes, or do you just plan to stick with the guys you got and try to coach them up for this week?
Well, again, we're going to continue to look, and get some guys an opportunity at the receiver position. We'll
ask them if they're going to play Doty.
We've been on the jugs more. I think sometimes you make more of a point of that, then it becomes an issue. It becomes more of an issue with the players. So we got to catch the ball better. We've talked in terms of catching to the tuck, and we'll continue to work through that.
Hale.
I know Tonka Hemingway and Jordan Burch are both playing behind guys who are veterans and productive players for y'all, but are y'all getting close to the point where you feel like you need to get those guys some more snaps?
Yeah, they're going to continue to play more. Yep. They're both playing really well. What's that?
I was going to ask, what have you seen from each guy that's really jumped out at you?
Well, I think as much as anything, both of them are extremely talented. God's blessed both these guys with a lot of ability, but they both are really, really smart. very intelligent. They catch on well. They're very coachable, in everything that they do. They're two of the best young men you'll ever meet in your life, as just far as just who they are as people. So we're very fortunate to have both guys. Both guys will continue. The more snaps that they see, the faster they're going to play. And they're going to be really good football players for us, and they need to play more.
Mike Uba.
It kind of beat me to the punch to it, but Kirk's been to every game since 1992, and I know Chris Fulmer obviously provides you guys food. He's been to every game since 1984, which is just crazy to just
Amazing.
say.
Chris feeds the other team sometimes, but other than that, I love him.
Yeah, he told me he was feeding Tennessee last week, unfortunately, or 2 weeks ago. But what I was going to ask you is, I've had a chance to speak with both of them. They think their streaks are unfortunately going to come to an end this week. What would you say to both those guys and what they've meant to this program? And what would you say to Gamecock fans who, have traveled outside of those two and want to be able to support you guys this week, but unfortunately with the circumstances at Vandy? Well, Chris and his wife are wonderful. Ultimate Tailgaters is their business, and it's a great meal. Our players and recruits, and we feed it to our team a lot. And they are great Gamecocks. They're unbelievable positive support for our program, for our players, for our staff. He and Kirk are both the guys that really appreciate.
I mean, I love hearing about this, but what does this shit have to do with the game this weekend? Like,
I hate that we're in the situation.
Like, what does this have to do with the game?
I mean, go to the game. My mom lives.
Ask
in
this
Mentone.
on
She's
your
got about a
downtime.
2.5-hour drive. One of her best friends, a guy named Rob Hammond, is a huge Vanderbilt fan, and they
some feel good. We need some feel good right now. Maybe I get it that way.
It is.
We need some feel good.
The situation we're in, but this is 2020, and this is kind of, this is where we are, and it's unfortunate. But I would encourage both Chris and Kirk to go to the hotel, so we'll technically count that as in the stadium, so the streak will not be broken. And if I could find a gate somewhere in the stadium, Coach Mason will probably let me bring them in somewhere. So I may have talked to D Mace on the side there, see if we can't get something done.
Eric Boynton.
Yeah, well, now that you've had one home game, one road game, once during this COVID times, once the ball kicks off, is it all just the same, or is it noticeably different for you as a coach to be playing with only 15,000 people in these big, usually crazy stadiums?
I would say it's very it's football. Once it kicks off, pregame is a little different, just from the standpoint of just no noise, and then to be able to communicate with a player on the field is very unusual, and we've been able to do that a little bit more than we normally do, as far as being able to yell something at them, as far as to remind them something about a check, or maybe make sure they got the right check, or whatever the case may be, which in more situations you're not able to do that. So that's been very different. But other than that, when it kicks off, it's football to me. I don't really notice anything different other than being able to communicate with a player.
Ben.
Hey, Will, looking at some of your stats, you guys, I think, are you guys have held really well on third downs, but it seems like you also haven't faced a ton of third downs at times, especially against Florida. And I guess what kind of goes in there? Is that explosives on earlier downs? Is that a different question for the defense?
No, it's not getting to third down. And when you had opportunities, we had 2 third and long situations. We should have been off the field. We stopped them on a 3rd and 1.5 there at midfield. But it's more than anything, not getting to third down when you don't have as many third downs. And generally that goes back to, especially in the first half, explosive plays. Played better in the second half after the long touchdown.
Colin Taylor.
You've obviously coached against Ted Roof before, who's at Vanderbilt now. I'm just curious, what do you remember about that App State game specifically last year, and what did they kind of do to keep you guys kind of at bay? Well,
they had some really good players. They had a good scheme. They played a lot of 3 down and moved a lot against us. We had a hard time in the run game of creating anything in the run game. With some issues there as far as those things are concerned. We gave up a touchdown as far as a pick 6 was concerned. They were right before half. But again, Ted's a really good coach. He's got a lot of experience. He has faced Coach Bobo multiple times when he was at Georgia Tech. I don't know how many years, but I know, Colin, it was quite a few years that they faced each other. And then you kind of just always go back and look at some different. He also faced Coach Bobo when he was at Auburn. And Ted was with Tracy Rocker at Auburn as well, on that same staff that won a national championship. But Ted's a really good football coach, a lot of experience, And Derek, Coach Mason's background is defense as well. So they'll do a good job.
Michael Espy.
All right, two questions for you. One, have you ever coached a game in front of 0 fans?
No.
Two, have you seen the forecast for Saturday? And when there's a high chance of, rain pretty much all afternoon, does that change anything that you guys want to do?
Yeah, well, our preparation, we're going to plan on tomorrow and Thursday of practicing with a wet ball. That we'll dip the balls in water there and deal with those things offensively. So that's something. And obviously we've got to do a great job with our manager staff as far as getting dry balls in the game when we are able to do that. And but we'll continue to observe the situation that is kind of the weather that's going to hit Nashville and see what we need to do.
Anything else for Coach? All good? All right.
All right. Y'all have a good day.
Appreciate it.
All righty then. That was a lot of fun. That was a blast. I love this comment, Jay Bible. He keeps coaching. It'll be 0 fans every week. Okay, good stuff. A lot of coach speak. Gonna wrap it up here, guys, because we are past 1 o'clock. Appreciate you all tuning in. That's fun. We will do it every single Tuesday. Like I said, that's a lot of fun. We'll definitely do it. I think it's good for us to sit there and kind of get some thoughts, or just hear his comments, whatever. So gonna wrap it up. Appreciate you guys tuning in. If you have not done so, check out the podcast that dropped this morning. Me and Alex McGrath talking about the Florida game and breaking down. Also looking ahead to Vanderbilt. Other than that, appreciate you all tuning in. We'll do it again tomorrow. Thanks so much.